Hopefully one day, if I meet your father, I can prove otherwise to him. And kind of turns.
That raises eyebrow. Like what? It's like, oh, I don't think you'll ever meet. So
He doesn't seem to respond to that. No, it's just the way you said it, from my perspective, implied a kind of attitude of kings not being helpful and never being, or especially to like a half work, like never
yeah,
wanting to deal with them. So he's
yeah.
like, hopefully he can prove otherwise. Which I think he's also making the logic jump that your father is an orc. Um, but turns and starts kind of. I mean, I guess he'll turn to Ruby, which I guess if Alyssa wants something from the king, we'll have to figure that out later. Um, Turns to Kiri, who nods. It's like, I'll very likely be going to the library as well. Thank you. Um, and then like once he's kind of and like looks down at Emra and is like, "Is there anything I can get for you?" And she like very shyly is kind of standing behind Thud. And he's like, and she's like, and just tugs on Thud's cloak, kind of to get a response, see if he says anything.
What?
What should I say?
Like looks at her like, I don't know. What do you want to say?
I don't know. And just kind of like looks and is like, and shakes her head slowly and kind of nods. Like, okay. Stands back up and and gestures and is like, uh, finally is like, well, and I suppose anything for Biscuit, our hyena companion. I'm getting
Oh
echoing
no,
from
she
somebody.
hates people.
Yeah, I'm getting echo now too.
I'm also
It's
I'm
Robbie.
not getting echo.
It's Robbie.
Oh,
It's you.
No.
oh,
Turning my volume down a little bit. I don't know.
All right. And then he kind
that
of.
work?
So sorry. What'd you say about Biscuit?
He says, "Oh no, she hates people."
He kind of pulls away a little bit farther and is like, fair enough. He's like, I look forward to seeing you all at the banquet this evening. Um, Turns and starts to walk away, and like as he does, kind of goes up to Kalik, who is kind of lagging behind the group, and uh, like bows. Is like, this is something I can get for you, and kind of has the same kind of conversation with her. At which point, she kind of is like, you hear her louder, more like a little louder than conversational voice, being, "Oh no, thank you, I'm fine. I need to, I think, get the ship ready to go." Um, it's like, I don't know how long before I need to get it back. But beyond that, he kind of after that kind of seems to turn and leave.
Thank you.
thank you.
Um,
Thank you.
the At which point, like a few of the guards kind of open the door, expecting you guys to head out. That Makira and Valkyra have kind of had gone off to the side and have sat down on some very nice furniture and are talking and catching up. Uh, right. Where do folks want to go? To the previously. I mean, I guess we want to split up or everyone move together.
I'm
Uh,
staying with these two, and I'm sure Dinara's staying with Jolie. Yes.
Yeah, definitely.
Go talk to this enchanter then, if that's possible.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah. Okay. Well, time for an on-the-fly NPC. Let's see how this goes. Um, yeah, and you're not left waiting very long. But you are met by a human woman. She has long red hair, dresses in pretty nice. I mean, pretty nice robes, but that's like at this point you're getting a little numb to that because everyone in the freaking castle is either in really nice armor or really nice robes. Um, and
Stylish.
you kind of find her, and she uh, introduces herself as let's go with let's see. This name generator is very hard to navigate, especially when going with, especially just trying to find human names. Actually, you know what? Screw it, she's a halfling. We're gonna make her a halfling. Halfling name generator. She kind of comes in and sits down across from you guys, and as she does, kind of like sits up at the table and is like, someone put this back down, and like pulls a little thing on the side, and it like cranks up the seat so she can reach the table a little easier.
Yeah.
Kind of nods at you guys, like, hi, I'm Brasira, the Royal Enchanter. What can I do for you guys?
Hi, Brasira. I'm Jolie Mudbrook. And then I explain everything that I do, and I ask her if she has tips or anything she can teach me or anything like that.
And like as you're just kind of rattling things you can do, she's like, wait. You explain the cat thing again. You made a cat.
Yeah, a butler cat
Okay.
out of a doll.
Oh, okay. That makes more sense. Okay, yeah, no, so, um, okay, I mean, that's pretty cool. That's pretty sophisticated animating something like that, especially for, like, long term. She kind of, like, looks at you and is, like, very impressed, because first off, you're really young. um, but she kind of thinks for a second, is like, uh, I mean, yeah, you're welcome to shadow me for a bit. I'm afraid that like my day to day work's not very exciting. And she kind of stops and is like, but I mean, I guess I could show you some of my personal projects. She kind of gestures and she's like, if you've got the king's permission, then I guess I can take this as a day off to just kind of show off what I've got.
Yeah.
Kind of turns and um, looks at your guys' stuff and points at the. She's like, what's that? What's the metal thing? Points at your gun.
Oh, this! I pull it out and I swing it around.
Don't we talked about this?
It's
Don't.
a projectile weapon that uses fire and explodable powder and shoots a little metal sort of nugget at things at high speeds. We're calling it a
Metal
gun.
nugget.
She kind of takes a look at it and is like, you don't even have any inscriptions on this thing. Is this what kind of spells do you use to fire it?
It's not spell based, which I think is an oversight.
She seems very kind of surprised and confused by this, but it's like, did you make this?
No, it's Callahan's. Callahan's. You can get it at Vale. It's very good. Very good stuff.
And she
No.
nods and is impressed. She's like, I haven't seen anything like that. Um, and I guess she's looking at the rest of your stuff, just kind of asking what on your person you've designed and what you haven't. Which let's look at your inventory.
I don't have much with me that I've made, which I think is an oversight as well.
Yeah, I mean um your big invention was the butler cat. Uh, but
Yeah,
you
I kind of want to hole up with Pursuer here and make some stuff for
yeah,
Jolie.
she's like okay, let's see what we can do. She's like, some of the more sophisticated enchantments we're not going to be able to do in a day, but um, she kind of thinks is like, but I mean, I don't know. We'll see what we got lying around, see what we can put together. At which point, she kind of they're kind of in their own little world. However much of the party is following and staying with them, this could very well be all day.
All day.
All day, son.
Um, but whether or not you want to break off from them and leave Jolie to this to check out like the library, or if you want to stay with her.
I'm not gonna leave Jolie alone with a stranger, I think.
Okay, that's fair. You guys work to work on this for a while, and let's see what are some projects she can be working on. She's working on she's got a long-term project where she's trying to make like a golem that you can just straight up control, like your similar to your summoned homunculi, but like permanent and kind of bigger and stronger. Um, it's still very much a work in progress, and it's not working yet. Um, she does seem to have learned how to enchant a few things to fly. She does seem to, which right now consists of her kind of practice and learning that was on a chair. So she does have a flying chair. And she kind of shows it off to you and lets anyone who wants fly around on it and mess around on it. She shows you what she does kind of more from a day-to-day thing, and it tends to be like, oh, let's enchant this torch with a flame that just never burns out until you command, and like you can command it to light and turn out. And like she's like, yeah, no, I pretty much just have to make these and put them up all over the castle. She's like, a lot of the nobles commission a bunch of these from me too. She kind of frowns, is like, the downside of making something that everyone finds really convenient is that then you kind of have to keep making a lot of them. She kind of goes over and is like, and then shows you kind of a. She's like, oh, I've been working on this, and shows off like it's kind of like a big chalkboard, but like, if you, she's like, if you put on and attune this like wristband, then whatever you think about, you can kind of make it draw stuff. Makes things easier for, she shrugs, like war room presentations or whatever they use in the meeting rooms. I don't know. And goes over and is like, and it seems to just like most of what she does is just little things for convenience, and then her own personal projects are just things to see if she can do them. But it is important work. Like it's one of those things where you're like, yeah, no, I guess someone had to do that. And Jolie, she is like smart, even if her uses for these grandiose abilities are a little unexciting. But she's kind of goes around and kind of grabs one of the torches you can just command a light and gives it to you, just kind of for the road. Um, she's like, it's designed to be a wall sconce, and then she just kind of breaks off the piece that attaches to the wall and kind of gives it to you. He's like, oh, but you can use it like that.
Awesome.
And then kind of goes up to you and shows off. She's like, I've been working on this one, but I'm a little afraid to show people to it because it's really hard to enchant and takes like several months, and then they'll just want me to make a ton of them. And she just kind of goes and we lost Charlene. Kind of goes and says a command word to a rug, and the rug just starts moving across the ground, and she's like, it just kind of dusts things and keeps things clean. Uh,
Charlene.
Yep. Oh, she can still hear us.
Okay.
We cannot see or hear you, unfortunately. Um, but yeah, so all this is just like weird little gadgets she's made. Any of them you want to kind of latch onto and study, you're welcome to.
Yeah, I'm just gonna kind of generally take notes on everything that I'm seeing. The thing about welcome back, yay!
Yay, I just refreshed.
I don't know. What should I do that'll help us out later on down the line?
Well, I don't think the pen that's good for boardroom meetings is really gonna do much.
we don't have a lot of boardroom meetings.
No, we have a lot of arguing with each other, but not a ton of boardroom meetings. Okay, we're gonna stop and make a pro-con list. So
Do that before every conflict, though.
The enchanting things to fly wouldn't be bad for me to know how to do that because I can levitate.
Yeah.
So, in order to like bring other people with me,
Yeah.
like for example, again across like a large chasm with a really rickety bridge.
Mm-hmm. If you wanted to focus primarily on learning that and that enchantment and stuff,
In fact, I very much do.
Yeah, you do.
For reasons.
Okay. Go ahead and make, I guess, just a.
Ugh, so much depends upon.
I mean, would this be straight? I guess this would be a straight intelligence roll. It's not a save, so you don't get the +7. You get the +4.
Okay. Damn it! Ugh.
So yeah, I mean, 11's not bad.
Can I try again with my luck?
Yeah, you can. Go for it.
Woohoo!
There we go.
Yeah.
This is an incredibly complicated enchantment. And by the end of it, you are annoyed you cannot do that thing already. By like most of the day is spent kind of looking over and figuring out how this enchantment works and kind of the details of what you need to do and whatnot. You are annoyed that leaving today, you are not going to be able to just go up to something and make it fly. On the other hand, she seems incredibly impressed how much you picked up, how kind of quickly you did it, and how you seem to be understanding the theory behind it almost at all. Like is impressive to her. But you have made some headway towards learning that enchantment. And it does occur to you this is similar to some of the stuff you kind of saw but didn't necessarily immediately grasp and understand of like around and on the airship.
Right.
Yeah, but yeah, this is a kind of smaller starter version of it, and you're kind of like, okay, this makes a little more sense. But as the evening kind of starts coming along,
Does she have any books or notes that I can take with me to help me like continue my own personal study into this?
Um, she thinks for a second and is like, I mean, she thinks like, okay, I've got something I can throw your way. Hang on. Goes over and finds a kind of uh, kind of beginner through intermediate enchantment book. And she's like, now I know a lot of what's going to be in here is going to be weirdly like common sense to you. Kind of slides it to you. He's like, but especially towards the end, it really helps you kind of start getting your footing for stringing together some of these bigger enchantments. Um, she kind of thinks is like a few of the kind of designs are important for kind of learning the sigils and glyphs and whatnot. Uh, if nothing else, you can kind of use it as a basic glyph dictionary.
Gotcha. Thank you.
She's like, unfortunately, a lot of the texts for this sort of thing would be kind of one of a kind texts that someone put together. Um, she kind of thinks as like, maybe I've got some friends that could reproduce some of the texts I have, and if you give me some place to send them, I could send you some from time to time.
Yeah, so Jolie's gonna write down the Magic Academy
Yeah.
information and say like it'll get to me if it goes here.
Okay, sure. She's seems more than okay with that. Um,
Send it through my people.
yeah. At which point, and Kiri's kind of looked at a few of the books over on the side and stuff, and there are a few bookshelves around. But she doesn't seem a lot of it's kind of very technical and over her head. At which point, I guess it's getting towards evening. So, Thud, were you stuck with this group?
Yeah, but I mean, while they were doing stuff, I'd probably be working more with Emira.
Yeah. Go ahead and make what did I make this? Intelligence, I think. You make an intelligence check. She makes an intelligence check. No, wisdom. It was wisdom because that's what you're trying to teach.
Shit, natural one.
Oh yeah, she rolled a natural 2. So, you're trying to teach her, and she seems. Well, first of all, she seems to keep trying to turn into a cat. Uh, even if you're trying to teach her other stuff. So like whatever you're like, so it's just it's not quite her attention's not quite there. And you're not quite managing to connect. But she still has overall made a lot of progress in the past several days, a lot more than you could reasonably expect her to. So, but today's not really sinking in. At which point, I guess, yeah, you guys, it's getting around time for you guys to head back for the banquet.
Rachel left and Charlene disappeared.
Yep.
Ian,
What?
I got a new highest rank in Overwatch.
Cool. So you're just slowly climbing up that ladder.
Yeah, I then immediately like lost and pretty badly. but then I won again, which brought me up to close to. I think they award you points based on what your level is relative to everyone else in the match.
Yeah.
So if you're lower than everyone, you get more points, or lose more points if you lose.
Yeah. Makes sense.
We got Rachel back. Charlene
Yay.
still.
Charlene's still in, like, her screen went out, but she may still be able to hear us if it's still the thing that's going on.
You're not typing at us.
No, it's
Type
true.
at us,
Darling,
Charlene.
can you hear us?
Charlene.
My guess is no. She says internet issues. She just texted.
Um,
What happened when I was gone? Just Thud failing to teach Emra?
yeah.
Yeah. What are we?
All right. Well, anyway, I mean, the group's heading back for. It's about time to head back for the banquet. So technically, it's up to you guys whether or not you go.
Oh my god, we better go because someone's gonna die.
Yeah, I'm gonna go to this banquet. Someone is definitely gonna die.
um. Yeah. I mean, you guys show up, and you are nowhere near as fancily dressed as everyone else.
Yeah, that occurred to me. Like,
But except
like,
Silas. Silas is
clothes?
not fancily dressed. Silas is just in essentially his adventurer's gear. And it occurs to you that maybe like the presence of adventurers at a fancy party is seen as like maybe a little bit of a curiosity, I guess. When you guys are there, people kind of seem to be approaching and dealing with you as though you're kind of entertaining.
You know, I'm a half orc with a giant hyena and a snake
Yes.
around my shoulders, and people
Yes.
are approaching me.
And a giant turtle shell. They all seem to be like kind of a lot of people seem to kind of be walking by you and being like, "Ooh, what the? This is like almost like at a museum or something, like where they're like just like, oh, this is an interesting exhibit," and then kind of moving on, and but you guys and you know one of the people kind of shows you is like, your places will be over here, and kind of guides you over there, and you're a ways down the table, and like when I say banquet, this is a large room full of people with tons of massive long tables, and you guys are at one of the farther points. The royalty table is up at the like on the far side of the front, but Silas seems to be coming and sitting with you guys, like placed pretty much right where you are. But they have their own massive table, kind of almost on a little like right or like it's higher up, so that they kind of have to go up some steps to get to it, and it's very visible from all the rest. Uh, as you guys head in, people seem very unconcerned with your weaponry. You are allowed to keep it on you, but as such, it is not hidden that the guards have very fine weapons on them, and the people up by the table, the king's table, have like it's there's some badasses up there. Like it's very apparent looking at them. You're like, okay, these people are on a high tier. They're probably above your combat level. Um, but and it's very rare that that's like visually apparent, but it is very visually apparent for pretty much everyone standing up there. Silas kind of takes a seat across from you guys. It's like, I'll go ahead and explain the job after the announcement. That's gonna kind of shrugs, like, make everything make sense. Hopefully, there's kind of a bit of wait as people are coming in, and it's all very kind of fine partying. There is a section of the floor open for some kind of ballroom dancing, Um, but whether or not you guys want to mingle is up to you. I kind of feel like that is unlikely, but it's up to you guys.
It's like you don't know me. Who is the most interesting looking person?
Uh, um, right now,
Yay!
Hi!
hi,
I had
welcome
to
back.
reset everything, so I'm
Yeah,
back.
it happens. Sorry. Um,
You're
y-
awkward at the party. Woohoo!
Okay, yeah, that's my game.
uh,
What I came
um,
for.
the most,
I can make sure everything's not poisoned, by the way. Everything within 5 feet of me.
yeah,
I'll stick close to you then.
yeah. If you look around, um, okay, what are you deeming interesting for the purposes of scouring this crowd? Because if you're looking for the fanciest individual you can find for kind of high society, or are you looking for kind of the most interesting in terms of uh
Like a race I wouldn't have seen before, or someone who's got a weapon I wouldn't have seen before, or something like that.
sure.
Yeah, we don't really have a goal as a group. We just kind of want to solve all of our own drama.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, our ability to do that's compromised by the lack of presence of one player. Um, uh, or made
No, I mean like
or possibly made far simpler by said lack of.
I didn't mean that drama in particular. I meant all of our individual drama.
Oh, got it.
Hand drama.
Yeah, hand
Holding.
holding drama.
Jolie doesn't have drama. She's drama free.
Uh, you guys, I mean, you look around, and you'd find. Sorry, what was your response to what you're looking for? You're looking for the most
Like a race I haven't seen
race you haven't
before, or
seen, right?
someone who has a weapon I haven't seen before.
Um, you've actually seen a lot of races. Interestingly, the one you see a couple of that is probably the one you've seen least is dwarves, because for the most part they live on the other side of the continent.
Hmm.
Um, you've got uh, I mean, most of the people who've come in here are unarmed. There are a few that seem to be holding kind of ceremonial weapons, and there are a few who seem to be. I mean, definitely they've got guards along the walls, and everyone up in the royal family's table seems to be armed to some extent. Um, but the body language doesn't seem to be implying that anyone has any expectation of using them. Thud, did you say you were going to go ahead and do the one spell to check the food as it's being given to you
Oh,
guys?
it's not a spell. It just takes an action. I'm a gourmand. It's my feet.
Oh, okay, then never mind. Yeah, you can just check it. Yeah, as you get your food, it looks. Uh, this. These dishes are complicated, potentially even beyond your caliber, Thud. Like, where you're like,
Whatever.
maybe I could do this. I could, if I could probably do this. And like, but this is very high end cuisine. It's also weird stuff. Like, there is some that's kind of designed to be for just someone who wants, but there is a lot of kind of the option for a lot of stranger dishes that you've never had before. Um, in terms of races, it's mostly elves and humans with some
I'll just talk to
halflings.
Silas. It's fine.
To who?
He's nearby. Huh?
To who?
To Silas.
Yeah. And Silas looks quite different from the rest of his family. I mean, he's got the black hair and green eyes and whatever, but his is kind of pulled back in a kind of short ponytail. He's got his coat. He has just a bunch of kind of things hanging under his coat that if he like kind of brushes it back, he's like he like a bunch of things he's got access to being able to kind of pull out quickly. Um, it's kind of what contemporarily out of game equivalent of a kind of duster. It's just like long coat with a bunch of stuff. He's he doesn't seem to. He does also have what you can pretty quickly identify as probably a bag of holding hanging on his belt. So he has access to more stuff than the stuff he has quick access to. It's just he just, but like among other things, he's got like, and like it's hard to tell which of it is. You can tell which of them are magic, and there are a few magic objects, but you can only be attuned to so many at once. But a lot of it seems to be stuff that's kind of more along the lines of keepsakes. And so he's kind of got, like a compass with and then like a nice little kind of utility knife, and then stuff just like a bunch of traveler's gear stuff. But the way he's wearing them implies that he's not that's not necessarily that their utility isn't the only reason they're there. And then of course he's got the Inquisitor's crest, which he has quick access to, along with kind of everything just kind of hanging under his coat. But he, in spite of looking very kind of hodgepodge and thrown together, and he's not very clean shaven. He's kind of, but in spite of kind of looking this way, you kind of get the idea that everything is incredibly organized while looking very haphazard. But he and so yeah, he kind of talking to him. You very quickly get the impression that he really enjoys being on the road, kind of on the move doing stuff, but regularly comes back here and occasionally goes back home. But he very regularly is kind of a good friend of the king, and has been since he was of a very young age. The king, but the
hand-holding friend.
I was about to say.
You don't get that impression, but you don't know either. Well, Jolie wouldn't know anyway. But he. But yeah, anyway, so he's just kind of, and he seems to be very appreciating his meal. He fully understands and follows kind of very proper dinner etiquette, but doesn't seem to be upset that you guys don't. Kiri also is following very proper dinner etiquette. But beyond that, it's a few minutes, several minutes into the dinner when the king kind of stands up and the room just kind of falls quiet. And he kind of nods and speaks, and as he does, his voice is amplified by both the acoustics of the room and someone else kind of seems to be doing a cantrip to augment his voice so people can hear. He's like, I would like to thank you all for coming. I have a very important announcement this evening. He kind of waves over at it's like, our guest of honor this evening is Lady Makina, who will be taking over as the new ambassador to Draconia. And nods like,
Dinar claps and then realizes nobody else is clapping and then stops.
he kind of smiles and nods in Dinar's direction. It's like, it is a cause for celebration because, and I know there have been a lot of whispers about why Lady Valkyra is stepping down. And that's tonight's primary announcement. She kind of motions and she stands up. He's like, tonight I would like to formally announce my engagement to Lady Valkyra.
Sorry, knew it.
And he kind of nods. Is like, and the union, to some extent, of the royal families of Draconia and Ashios. At which point, most of the room kind of starts. There's a little bit of confusion and then kind of applause, and people seem pretty happy. He's like,
Jolie leans over to Dinar and says, "So they're gonna hold hands, or
Yes, they're gonna hold hands forever. That's the agreement until one of them dies.
What is there this time?
It's just a thing. Don't. I was explaining marriage. It's nothing.
Puppy.
This is there's a lot of kind of celebrations. Like the room has livened up from kind of a more cold aristocratic thing to a much more kind of like people happier. It's a little more celebratory instead of just kind of going through the motions and whatnot. You do get the impression that this is a selected group of people. And in fact, Silas immediately kind of turns back to you. He's like, all right, so this couldn't be announced beforehand, which is why Lady Makira could not inform you as to why people might be after her. He kind of nods and is like, additionally, I'm sure you can imagine that a few people will be upset by this, including, he kind of nods, like, a branch of the royal family that wasn't so happy with the last generation's king marrying an elf.
They're just gonna be little mutts, aren't they?
Yeah. And he kind of shrugs and he's like,
Kitty. Pretty kitty.
honestly, we do expect some degree of insurgency, and the biggest culprit is the person who sent people to meet you all at the docks. He kind of frowns. He's like, the fact that their intelligence network moved that quickly is upsetting. He's like, but we are not without our own, and the one piece of information we do have is that following this announcement, the I need to do another Lord Barden, who is a distant cousin at this point to His Highness, has been vocal in his family's branch's claim to the throne and has never been anyway, he's not a dumb individual either, and he does have a lot of following. So it has come to our attention that he has managed to get a hold of an artifact called the Obsidian Crown, which enables which the wearer gets some powers that our documents have not been entirely clear on. However, we do know that it is you can only attune to this magical item if you are quote unquote worthy to be king. He essentially intends to make a party and ceremony of attuning and displaying his powers with this crown. Our intelligence network thinks that it would be a good idea to perhaps see to it the crown goes missing, and we need to enlist the help of some specialists to do so. Kind of looks at you guys and is like, so my question to
Who
you...
were you thinking?
That sounds like a solid plan.
Yeah,
so
it's a good plan.
he looks at you guys and is like, so my question to you is whether or not you'd be interested in breaking into a high security military guarded he's got his own army watching the facility, essentially breaking into his manor, whether or not under the pretense of friendship, and getting this crown away from them.
I don't know that any of us are charismatic enough for friendship, but yeah, let's do this. This sounds great.
He kind of smiles like, fantastic. Well, then, in
Like
that
a
case,
heist, you guys.
that is exactly what it's like.
I know, I was so excited about it.
uh,
I can fit in a very small box. I can unlock any door, and I have an invisible helper.
I can tell
This will
you
go
the
very
rules.
quickly.
uh, Kiri is like, I mean, she's like, well, I mean, I can talk my way in, probably, but also, and then pulls out her Inquisitor's crest, and is like, I've got this. It can't hurt. um,
Can it?
at which point Silas looks at it and is like, well, that's news. It kind of nods at her.
She usually tells everyone she meets. She's very proud of it.
He, he kind of is like, I mean, I guess I did do that earlier today, so can't cast stones. Kind of, he kind of shrugs. He's like, I mean, I kept it secret for a while, but eventually enough people found out that it just became more useful to flash it around to get places. And he shrugs. He's like, and of course, he like looks at her and is like, it is a power that if you abuse, your cardinal has the power to take it away from you. And she kind of shrugs and she's like, screw him. And he looks very confused, but
What she means is, not that. That would
Right.
be not smart to say out loud.
I'm pretty sure that's what she means, though. I disagree.
Kiri doesn't clarify.
She means we accept.
And he nods. He's like, well, wonderful. It's best I understand it. You guys are headed back to Vale. You are welcome to stay here and prepare for the job, but we can send, if you want, I can send information through my brother as to uh, where this ritual or party or whatever we're going to call it is going to be.
You guys want to head back to Vale? I think we should.
Where does this dude live?
This
Didn't you say
guy,
it was in, yeah, it was in his manor?
The heist target.
the heist
Yeah.
target would be in this guy's manor. He's like, the king's cousin Barden, lives southwest of, a little southwest of here. It would be significantly southwest of Vale. Either way, I mean, from here it would probably be. Thinks for a bit. Vale's southeast of here, so he kind of thinks. He's like, I mean, from here it's usually about 2 weeks, 3 weeks travel, 2.5 weeks travel or so from here heading southwest. From Vale, it wouldn't be any. Would it actually be probably a little closer because Vale's a ways south. So he's like, from Vale it would probably be maybe a 2-week trip.
And we know that he's got the crown there.
That's what our intelligence suggests. Is that he's holding it in his manor, under pretty extreme protection. He does stop and he's like, there is likely to be magical protection on the situation, like on the place and on the what I assume would be a vault. He'd keep it, and he shrugs. He's like, I don't know. That's the security measures I've seen before have been that you put exploding glyphs or some. He shrugs. He's like, I mean, I'm sure you all have your skill set for figuring out that sort of thing, and if not, we can assign some more some more people to the team. Kind of thinks he's like, essentially right now I'm just going off of the fact that Renton thinks you guys are good.
No, we can figure that stuff out.
Nods. Well, let me know if you need me to to bring in more infiltration specialists. At which point, I assume Ruby kind of speaks up. It's like, no, we're fine. It's like, I think I got this.
We got this.
Have you
Alright,
unlocked
now.
anything yet?
Jolie thinks but doesn't say
Yeah.
safe.
um,
Oh, don't worry. This case is safe with us.
Does Dinar say that?
No.
Okay, I know. I know you didn't say it in character voice, but I didn't know if he was just going wild and doing both his jokes in 1 week.
No. Definitely not.
But yeah, which means like, excellent. I think that this can be. I think this could be a good arrangement. Kind of things. He's like, if you should want my help personally on the team, I can help some. Granted, I'm not an infiltrations expert. I would be a little more use in terms of potential muscle. I kind of looks over. I mean, he looks at you guys and he's like, the one problem is that not all of you move with the lowest profile, which is just to say, he gestures to Kiri and Thud and Dinar, and he's like, some of you would stick out in a crowd, but we can potentially set up some false identities for you, or find some identities for you guys to take. How do you want to do this? What if you were to break into a heavily guarded facility? What help would you like?
Well, Kiri can go invisible, and Thud and Dinar could always be diversionary.
We're pretty diverse.
I can turn into small animals or flying animals, or I can even spy using other animals. So I'm not super worried for myself.
He nods. Like, it would be amazing for reconnaissance.
I believe in this type of situation, I am typically known as the muscle.
He
Because my one really special skill, besides punching a thing, would be setting it on fire. So
You can manipulate. You can manipulate water. I've seen you do it.
thanks. Yeah, I'm sure the wet wipe spell will come in handy.
At which point, Emra speaks up from her seat eating food. She's like, "I can turn into a cat."
She can turn. She has. I've seen her do it.
He nods and he's like, well, you guys definitely seem like a eccentric but formidable bunch, and he kind of smiles. He's like, I'm interested to see what you can do.
Or
Can any of us dispel magic?
Huh?
Can any of us dispel magic?
I can't dispel it, but I can detect it.
I cannot.
That helps.
And I can always like create something that like send one of my homunculi like into a spell to make it.
Yeah. So Thad's gonna turn and say, like, if you have anyone good at dispelling or unenchanting, I think that's the same thing, but
Yeah, he nods. He like thinks about it and nods. It's like, we'll get someone sooner than later. And he kind of looks at you guys. He's like, are you guys heading back with your ship? Because it sounds like the ship captain seems to be planning on heading out tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
It's up to you guys.
Rather not cross those mountains unless we have to.
Yep.
Yeah, he nods. He's like, then I'll dig up someone with some ability to dispel magic and send them send them your way by tomorrow morning, if at all possible, and we can get this show on the road. Otherwise, I think he's trying to think of someone from the Magic Academy that would be able to dispel magic. Fail Academy. Now I gotta roll to see if you think of anybody. Well, let's see. Let's see who we've got. Have I not made anyone who can dispel magic?
Oh no.
That seems weird.
We'll just have to blow everything up. Just set everything
I
off.
can do Donar can do that.
Yeah, we can totally do that.
I know. I
I'll
know
just
he
set
and
everything
Kat
on
are looking
fire.
over there. Oh, thank you. Not really. Nobody.
Really?
Yeah, literally nobody at the Magic Academy can dispel magic.
Well, we'll wing it. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, he just says, I'll send someone your way around in the morning, and kind of thinks he's like, I'll get something figured out. Don't worry about it.
So come to Vale with us?
Nate shrugs. Is like, I mean, unless you'd rather them meet you there or meet you at the location.
No, they can come with us. Do you think they would also be able to help us with this murder room situation we have in our new house, where there's a room, but it's like murders people, and it's got spells, and we don't know how to set the spells off, so we should probably get someone who could do that.
That is nodding that would help, yeah.
Yeah, that's a problem.
There's a
Murder.
long pause where he's just looking at you. It's like,
Yeah, it murders people.
It murders people.
I mean, we haven't seen it murder anyone, but we
People
assume.
have
It
died.
hurt me a little.
It did.
Yeah, but
That's
damage
not enough.
isn't like death, so.
Yeah, but it could have murdered me.
Would dispel magic help?
I mean,
I don't think I've actually seen it.
I think some of them are non-magical booby traps. I don't imagine it would hurt.
I could take care of those ones, no problems. But the magical ones, they might, not have limits. So
Well, hi, Nick. He kind of thinks, he's like, I mean, I can send someone with dispel magic. And dispel magic will help. But
It's like a giant snake is slapping you in the face.
that muffled colored snake is attacking our DM.
But no, he seems to be like, I can make sure someone who can dispel magic can go with you. In terms of
the murder room.
Yeah. I can't promise they'll help, but I'll send them, and I'll leave the convincing for helping with your murder room to you guys.
Thanks.
Oh, and they shouldn't be afraid of the cat butler. It's harmless.
It's completely harmless. I don't think it could hurt something if it tried.
Like, maybe you could trip over it and skin your knee, but that's about the extent of any damage that could be done.
I was like, okay, I think I'm completely lost now. Are we having the same conversation? Because
usually, yes.
I just don't want.
I'm sorry. We started in the middle. Let me explain. We have a stuffed cat that's a butler.
I made it.
That's it. That's all there is to it.
Okay.
Name's Butler Cat.
Its name is Butler Cat. It goes by no other name.
Okay. I'm pretty sure if you want, um, as long as you discuss this with our agent before meeting this cat, that you can diffuse any potential alarm that they may have. It seems really kind of.
Dunar pauses. It goes, we really should set up an alarm system. I don't think we have one. I actually think the mansion is completely open to being broken into.
Do we have anything worth stealing?
Like tons and tons of gold.
Also, there's that safe that's open now.
This is the open safe, which also has gold and a bunch of papers in it. I saw. And then there's Butler Cat.
They
This
might
is
sell
valuable.
Butler Cat. I mean,
I mean, Kiri.
You want to see Butler Cat?
I mean, Kiri kind of looks at you guys and is like, I mean, Tessa's there.
Oh, right.
Tessa doesn't.
She'd probably notice anybody coming in.
I'm sure
She
so.
would, yeah.
I mean, she thinks she's like. Also, I think, and she said, like, Tessa and I did discuss she was going to be kind of going and trying to hire, like, help for the house, people to kind of maintain it, and he shrugs. It's like, that's, I gave her.
That's good. I mean, eventually Butler Cat will be good enough that we don't need anybody but Butler Cat. But for the time being, that's okay.
Yeah. She kind of.
High expectations for Butler Cat.
It'll just be Butler Cat, but that's fine for now. After a while,
Silas
Butler.
is looking at you all like you're completely insane. He's
Yeah,
like,
well, he should. We are.
But also, like, is amused by it and doesn't seem put off by his decision to send you guys on the mission yet. But at this point, the banquet winds down. The people from the front table kind of file off and seem to be going to socialize royally with themselves. And a lot of the people at the banquet have started leaving. You guys can all eat your fill, and you'll be probably a bit overly full unless you watch yourselves. And then you guys are up for whatever, at which point Silas is like, if he's like, I've been told to give you this, and kind of pulls a smaller bag out of his bag that appears to be empty, and gives it to you guys, and it has a large amount of gold in it. And he kind of nods. He's like, and if you want, he's like, in addition to that, and he pulls out some more gold, and he's like, we can supply you with a place to stay at the, he's like, we've got a very fine inn just a little ways off, a little ways from the castle, or you guys can select your own place if you like.
I mean, it's one night. It doesn't matter.
Yeah,
so we sleep on the ship? Can we just go back to the ship?
You can just go back to the ship if you want.
Let's just go. Yeah, I think we should do that, right?
Okay. He's like,
Bud doesn't trust anyone in this town. He thinks they're all traitors.
He nods and like,
or inept.
Inept traitors, most of them.
He's like,
cool. So
well, you guys travel safe, and he kind of just.
Thank you, Silas, very much.
That airship's something else. It seems pretty cool. And he kind of smiles. He's like, tell Callahan I say hey.
All right.
Aside from that, we're winding down. So whatever you guys things you want to do before we end the session.
No, I only have like about 45 minutes to eat dinner and get ready before my ride gets here for.
Okay.
stuff.
I gotta make my costume.
Okay, so everyone go ahead and pop out a little early then for today.
I think
I
so.
gotta give my wig a haircut.
Yeah, that's fair. Okay, well then,
Bye, Internet!
bye internet, and we'll
And
Bye,
bye,
be seeing you
Alyssa!
all
I
next
hope
week.
you enjoyed this episode.
Yeah. All right, bye.